Morning, everybody. Okay, let's do this again. Take two. I'll try to be more interesting on this one. I just watched the first try at this video and it was horrible. So I read a couple articles this morning. I'm going to be honest with you, they weren't really great. And they were just, I don't know, they were... So, here we go. I'm going to read the title and tell you a little bit about it, and then I'll give you my reaction to it. Okay, so the first one is Good Riddance to Market Definition by Duncan Cameron, Mark Glick, and David Magnum. Was first published in December of 2012, and in it, well, I'll just read you the first couple sentences of the abstract so you kind of get an idea. Professor Kaplow contends that the use of market definition and market shares in antitrust analysis is fundamentally flawed and should be abandoned. We challenge, that is the author's challenge, that conclusion by showing that it is based on misperception of the purpose and practice of market definition and oversight of the flaws of market definition and an overstatement of the workability of direct measurement and the power of market, and of the market power that Professor Kaplow proposes as a replacement. Folks, what we have here is a lot. Probably thousands of hours that have been dedicated to semantics. That's my reaction to this. Kaplow says we should replace the term market definition with a different term. And he looked this up and he gave this a lot of thought. Our friends Duncan, Mark, and David contend that we need the term market definition. And I contend, I don't care if you call it strawberries, it's still going to be there, right? So you could call it cup, right? You could call it pen. It's still the same thing. Just because you call it something else doesn't change what it is. We still have to define markets. We still have to segment the markets. We still have to get in. Now, is it an ever-changing process? Of course. Is it more complicated than it used to be? It is. Is it better? It is. It is. Is it going to continue to get better? It will, right? But we're not going to get rid of it, and just by calling it a duck doesn't make it a swan. I don't know. So that was my first waste of time this morning. Now we'll get on to my second. So this is a pretty old article. It was written in '99, so probably most of you weren't born yet. This guy Theodore Levitt. It's called Theodore Levitt's Marketing Myopia. M-Y-O-P-I-A. Myopia. And again, I'm going to read the first couple sentences of the abstract and then give you my reactions. So Theodore Levitt criticizes this guy named John, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the rest of his name because I'm going to mess it up, view of advertising as an artificial want creation, contending that its selling focus on the product fails to appreciate the marketing focus on the consumer. But Levitt himself not only ends up endorsing selling, he fails to confront the fact that marketing to our most pervasive needs that he advocates really representing a sophisticated form of selling. So what we have, so here's the deal. Again, with the semantics, right? So this guy Theo criticizes this guy John because perhaps John has an oversimplified view of marketing, and he says marketing is selling, and Theodore's like, it's so much more than selling. But then by the end of the article, he's like, but selling's a part of it, right? So mostly I agree with Theodore here, that marketing is so much more than just sales, so much more than just a transaction. Getting the product, person, action, getting the whatever it is, whatever this entity is. to the population that they need to be to, or making that population aware of, or continuing to make the population aware of them. I mean, like, whenever I say Nike, you think shoes, right? You already think that. When was the last time you saw Nike do a commercial that had any shoes in it? I can't ever find one, and I've looked a lot on YouTube to try to find a commercial of Nikes that features shoes. They always feature athletes, never feature shoes, right? So at that point, they're doing like that whole branding part of marketing, keeping people aware of Nike, the swoosh. So in that note, in that regard, I agree with Theodore here. But even he has to admit in the end that, we'll use the Nike example, by making you aware of these, world-class athletes, at the end of the day, you're selling shoes. You're doing it in a really cool way, and you're making culture. I mean, if you want to see like a tearjerker commercial, watch the one for LeBron James and his chair, like it highlights his charity, right? And it's just, I mean, like I'm watching that and like welling up tears in my eyes. It was so great. So anyway, so if you want to see a really good commercial that's like Nike is blah, but at the end of the day, they're still selling shoes. All right. I love everybody. I hope you're having a great week, and look forward to reading your post. Roll Tide.